bit like when you watch, when you watch old films where it's just sped up
The
slightly.
frame rate's different.
Yes, and so it suddenly looks like everyone's doing something just that little bit faster. It's one of my favourite things when I get a little ping on my phone and it's a voice note from Andrew Leonard.
I thought you were telling me you hate them. I thought you just send me a message.
No.
Don't send me a voice note. 8 overs bowled, 32 for 2. Andrew Leonard here with Mel Farrell. Reminder to get those messages in. We'll get to them probably after this first power play. There's a lot going on in this first power play. This is the state of play in ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. Use that hashtag CWCL2 or message us directly. You can keep it public or private if you want to go into the DMs. At Cricket Badge for me, Andrew Leonard, and then Mel Farrell is at Melinda Farrell and Melinda SM Farrell on Twitter and Instagram respectively. That's the state of play in the league. It really is a league that is definitely capturing the imagination, Mel. We've spoken a bit about it throughout the course of the series. What have been the things that you've enjoyed so much about? I think it was just in this cycle you've started to cover it, isn't it? Come on for commentary.
Yeah, it is. Just last summer was the first time, so it's only just over a year. I was always one, who would look at the scores and see what was happening. But I think in the last 2 years, I've become much more obsessed with it. And I always enjoyed watching the qualifying tournaments as well. But just the fact that this is a league that goes for a period of time, it's the fact that you think one team might be dominating, but then they play in other countries and on other surfaces and in different conditions. And all of a sudden, as we see the speed of those fielders again, really terrific stuff from this Nepal side. It just changes so much, and there's never really anyone who gets away from anyone else. Obviously, Netherlands have done well and got themselves into the Super League, World Super League, when it existed for one cycle. But even with those sides, or even with USA at the moment, you could see USA coming up a cropper in one particular series, and all of a sudden that pulls them back into the pack.
Look, credit to Oman. I thought, I'll happily put my hand up, I thought going to the different conditions, what a stop from Bertel. He creates a run-out chance from nowhere.
Wow.
It was an immediate call, and I think if there had been a mix-up, it could have been real drama. He flung himself to his left, big pat in the back. So much attention goes to Irie and Bim Sharkey, but I think Bertel's as good as both of them. Look at this. Fantastic work.
That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Look at the little flick at the end, just in case.
Driven, but straight to Irie. Can't take your eyes off these Nepalese fielders. Yeah, certainly I think people looked at Oman's results, winning 7 from 8 on home soil and back-to-back home series, and went, well, hold on, they're not going to be able to do it away from home. I was one of them. I thought, hold on, they're going to go to Florida. We've got an associate cricket WhatsApp group. It's full of some of the greatest associate cricket badgers you could imagine. 9 overs bowled, 35 for 2, and I said, I don't see Oman winning more than one game here. And they didn't just win one, they won 3, and they nearly won 4. Sufyan Mahmood in the last game very nearly, and maybe arguably should have finished the job, having done so well to get them close to home. They won a fascinating super over encounter against the USA. So you basically just can't take any result for granted. UAE beat Scotland in the Netherlands in difficult conditions for them. Yes, they've had some very poor other results, but I think it's that unpredictability, isn't it? And then, of course, the context, the importance of every game, and the jeopardy that underpins the league, the potential of losing ODI status, and the rather catastrophic effects on the sport throughout the entire country if that were to be the case. That unpredictability, add in the jeopardy, the context, it makes for very engaging, very exciting, and very dramatic cricket. Oh, Misfield, praising the fielding, but this one burst through, and I get a single.
Well, there's all that context and jeopardy that you talk about. The other thing, though, Lenny, is just that it's really good quality cricket. and the standard is so good. It's not just we've got a ragtag bunch of teams and they sometimes have a close finish. The standard is so good.
And that's a great point. And that's something that certainly we need the full member world, if you will, to be more acutely aware of. Obviously, the only time it's easy to do that at is when the World Cups come around. Edged and just short, never carried. I think Asif Sheikh thought about diving across. It might be crucial. Bertel there, first slip. Just trying to get a look, maybe not. I think it's Arif Sheikh, is it actually? Yeah, it hasn't carried. Bertel's at second slip. Asif maybe needed to dive across. It was the only way it would have been a chance.
Yeah, there's actually quite a big gap too in between the keeper and first slip. They're a long way back. Might see them take a step forward. Ball just not quite carrying. Scotland not finding this easy at all.
Pulled, a little bit off balance, but very effectively by Charlie Tier, who, well, picking up from where he left off, a career best already in this series, taking a liking to all of the Nepal bowlers. That's a fine shot, even if it looked a little, well, rushed, was it?
It was a little bit. Just managed to get on top of it, though, ride that bounce. Pretty well played in the end, actually. Charlie Tier continues on. It's just quite incredible just how different he has looked to batters who are much more experienced than he is. It's just a little bit puzzling, but he's going along very well.
Yeah, I think for all those who watched the series in the Netherlands, they would have looked at Tier's output there. It wasn't just his output necessarily. His strike rates were low. He looked horribly shy of form. Now, the one caveat for all that, he missed the first game due to tonsillitis. So you just wonder how much of that was kind of him actually desperately wanting to contribute to the team but not being at full health. I do wonder about that. Got lots of VIPs floating around the ground today. Great to see. I've already heard from Chris Greaves. I know Chris Greaves is going to be here. See him in the T20I series. The Scotland women's head coach just wander around the box. Craig Wallace. Hopefully we'll hear from him later. The former Scotland international was looking at his career numbers last night. This is the kind of stuff I do at night time before a game. It's so sad, isn't it? He's got a very good career record.
I'm not doubting you.
I think, if I remember correctly, the third highest strike rate in Scottish ODI history used to give it a biff, didn't he? And work it round. There was paddles and scoops and ramps and all sorts. We're going to hear from him later today. Going to twist his arm and get him in on air, particularly given the weekend of a very important global cricket conference. The Scottish women's team plight was spoken about yesterday. This is tickled round the corner. Long chase. Diving stop attempted. I think Cammie's done enough, much to the adulation of the Nepal fans out there. We'll round out the power play. Charlie Tier is on a hot streak, but Nepal have 2 wickets. Maybe honours even at the end of the first 10.
I have very, very rare misfield. We don't see too many of those, but managing still to pull that ball in. I think actually Nepal will still feel pretty happy as we reach the power play end, just having got those 2 very big wickets. For Scotland, the fact that Charlie Tier has just looked really accomplished again against this Nepal attack, and they still have Richie Berrington out there, their captain, truly courageous, a man who gets them out of trouble all the time. He's still out there as well, knowing that they do bat very deep, and we've seen that certainly in that match against Netherlands, the way that lower order was able to contribute. So Sheikh continuing from the nursery road end as we see those fielding restrictions relaxed. flashed away, but straight to the fielder.
My first run. Just a bit of a lull here as Scotland look to rebuild. Won't be displeased with the lull because they don't want any more wickets, Mel. I wonder what the next change is going to be. Will it be a Gulshan Jah move, try to get the pace bowlers on? Maybe in between the over, possible. Just to the left and to the other side.
But I think you're right. I think Scotland will be quite happy for things just to be calm, allow this partnership to build around Charlie Tear again.
Yeah, I would guess, Mel, maybe a Gulshan Jah move would be one that would make sense. Spinners obviously likely to be an option pretty soon too, but Gulshan Jah for the moment might be the play. The two right-handers, obviously the big dismissal of Munsey early means that there isn't a huge amount of right-handed batters in the rest of this Scottish squad. Just Mark Watt, who'll be down at number 8. Left-handed batters, that is. Sorry, thank you, Mel. So it'll be nothing but right-handers for the rest of the innings, barring Mark Watt. So Raj Banshee can come in and just wheel away as well, keep things tight. Good over from Arif Sheikh, just 3 runs from it, 47 for 2. Small community here, a very tight-knit cricket community, and lovely to see Chris Greaves there. Now, where's Chris Soul gone? He was just in the shot a moment ago. Chris Soul is also here, Chris McBride too. Chris Greaves, will see him in the T20s, and yeah, lovely to see internationals, both current and former, and we'll hopefully see Chris Soul more in the future. For the moment, his status kind of remains a bit unknown, doesn't it? Hasn't played this series, didn't play the one prior, and not on a Cricket Scotland contract at the moment, but surely he's still got a lot of cricket in him.
Well, he's easily the quickest that Scotland have produced in recent years, and
he might be the quickest associate bowler.
I think he might be. I remember was bowling. Was there one ball that was up about 153, 154?
He's been clocked in excess of 150, which in the history of international cricket, any cricket generally, very few bowlers have bowled, and he was that kind of X factor, that raw pace that saw him get signed in the Caribbean Premier League. It's been picked up in a few franchise leagues. There's no official retirement of any kind, no official announcement, but just the information we have, he's not available for the moment. And as a consequence, we saw it in the last game 2 days ago, it's Sampal Kami returning here rather than Gulshan Jah being introduced, change of ends for Kami. We have that samey sort of Scottish attack. That's why they've kind of almost been forced, isn't it, to give a debut to Mackenzie Jones, even if he's young and he's a bit raw. They've had to get him in because Jarvis, Davidson, even Charlie Castler's come in today. They're all very similar sort of military medium pace.
Yeah, and they don't have Brad Curry as well, that left arm option. And he just changes that attack immediately when he comes into the side. Because it is funny, when I was looking at Scotland's attack, when I was, say, about 18 months ago, I was looking at it thinking, gosh, this is actually one of the most perfectly varied attacks that you can imagine, because they did have express pace with Chris Soul. They had the swing bowlers that they could turn to.
Whipped into the leg side, has a race to the rope. It's overpitched, yes. It's actually the longest corner of the ground, but it will still get there. And that's a beautiful way to bring up the 50, isn't it? Charlie Tear, he's been the dominant force to say the least. He's really carrying Scotland right now.
He's just looked like he's batting on a different pitch against a different attack than everyone else. A really nice use of the wrists as he guided that ball. It might have been the longest part of the ground, but he timed it so well. It went all the way. But just going back to that point, so they had express pace in Chris Soul. They had a number of right arm swing bowlers that they could turn to as well, the likes of Sharif and McMullen. But then they had the left arm of Brad Curry, who is a genuine wicket taker. So you had that option there as well. They've obviously got the off spin of Leask. They had the leg spin of Chris Greaves that they could call on. And then, of course, the left arm magician work of Mark Watt. So that was such a varied attack. You really had so many options. And then you had the likes of Gavin Main coming in or your Brad Wheels. And now it does feel like with the bowlers that they have available, that variation is just not quite there, and they've got just more limited skill sets to actually play with than you felt that they had like 12 to 18 months ago at the times when they had more players available. And obviously the players have different personal circumstances as well. It's tough surviving as an associate cricketer.
Pulled by Berrington, well in front to square. Boundary slightly bigger out to that leg side with us being on the same pitch as 48 hours ago. It's 63 metres out there, only 59 metres to the offside. That's where some have been targeting. 12 have been bowled, 53 for 2. Keep those messages coming in. We'll get to them in these middle overs. Also a guest commentator coming in. Yeah, you're wondering about that traditional Nepali dress. The Gunyo Cholo is what it's called. The Gunyo means the long skirt on the lower half, and then the tight blouse is the Cholo on the top. It's mostly worn by women further up into the hills. You can wear a Dakatopi, but it's not exclusively for men, but it's not used as much.
Well, thank you to Sudeep, who's sent in some pictures and explanation. And he said also, Mel, if you want to put on your head, women usually put, I'm going to try and say it, Pachuri, a wool cashmere scarf.
Yeah, it's just a Nepali pashmina, a Pachuri.
Yeah, Pachuri. Okay, yeah. So I didn't do too bad.
It's something every single trip to Nepal that I take, I will always bring back at least 4 or 5 of them and gift them to... Actually, I've never got you one. That's poor from me.
Yeah. What on earth?
But yeah, generally they make a lovely gift, and they're beautiful, really beautifully produced with gorgeous patterns and elegant traditional Nepali designs. But yeah, if you do want to get in touch, use that hashtag CWCL2. That stands for Cricket World Cup League 2. Andrew Leonard here at Cricket Badge, and Mel Farrell. Type in Mel's name, it'll pop up immediately. Send us a direct message if you would like to get one, which I actually meant to mention this morning. Very early. He didn't tell me where he's coming from, but he said, I'm currently at 3:23 a.m. en route to Dundee, driving up. So I presume from probably somewhere down near London. Amazing commitment from fans to get up here. We're expecting a very good crowd that continues to build. People are still flocking through the gates actually as we speak, and we'll have another wonderful atmosphere today, I suspect. Down the leg side, good hand from Asif Sheikh is going to save 2 runs. That would have raced away to the rope. The brothers working in tandem together, Arif the elder and Asif the younger. And Raghu says, well, the Dakatopi is a man's wear, but you won't be criticised for wearing it. Some women occasionally wear it. And Nepalis are generally very laid back unless it's about Momo. It's Momo, not Momos.
Yes, I know. I've learned my lesson.
The only thing they get head up about.
I'll never.
Because it's the best food there is.
It is. Oh, I'm obsessed. I honestly, when I was there, that's what I had for dinner every night.
I've had plenty of international cricketers come to Nepal, and I'll often kind of bring them out in their first couple of nights to give them a bit of a lay of the land, where to go, what to do, what to eat, what to drink, etc. And I've had a couple of them say, they say, what are Momo? And I'll be like, you just have to really taste them to find out. And then they look at them and you show them a photo and they go, they're just dumplings. I said, no, really. And the variety and difference of them all. Yeah, and there is plenty of Nepalese restaurants across the United Kingdom, isn't there? There's plenty of places you can go to get them.
Well, yeah. Actually, there's a lot of Nepalese restaurants, even in my hometown of Australia.
Huge immigrant population there. The Nepali diaspora. There's incredible inside edge. It's probably going to race to the ropes. Sampal Kami won't cut it off. Tyr a little bit fortunate. 2 inside edges in that over. And Arif Sheikh a bit unlucky. 6 runs end up coming off the bat. 7 in total. It's 60 for 2.
Yes, I was very excited as we see that. Could have gone anywhere, really. Chased a wide one. It came back in a little. But when I went back home to discover that there is a new Nepalese restaurant in my hometown of Orange, and they do specialise in momo. And that was a very exciting moment for me. Momo comes to Orange.
Love that. Well, we're talking about messages coming in. You're going to have to listen to this one. Scottish club cricket yesterday. Now, it was a horrible day up here, apparently. I think our coordinator, Nav, managed to get a 1-run win through the rain somehow against the Grange Club. He was playing up in the Golden Acre ground as Sandeep Lamachani gets ready to come in. Linlithgow versus Watsonians yesterday. First time in Scottish club history, thanks to the halfway up middle guys getting in touch. We heard from both of them, didn't we, 2 days ago? It's a Scottish league record from anything that anyone can tell. On a wet day, they've posted 501 for 3. And who was at it again? Ollie Hares. Don't rule him out. Find your way back into the T20 action. 196 off 89 deliveries. Dragged down. You do not bowl there to Richie Berrington. That's going to go all the way. Smoked for 6. A fine shot. It's his favourite shot, isn't it? He's always going to put that away. Long hop to get things going for Lamachani, the leg spinner. And that is just pulverised for 6.
Such a good player of spin. Loves to play square of the wicket. And anytime he's given width, anytime he's given a ball that sits up, he will put it away.
Well, this is a place I've been in before. My first ball of my spell. You're always nervous, you're cold, it's difficult in these conditions, these temperatures, to get the blood feeling in your fingers. And bowling leg spin is the most difficult art. It wasn't a good delivery, it was a drag down. And he's picked that length up so well. And look at the way he's hammered that all the way for 6. And now it's the horror of knowing the ball is lost. Credit to the crowd, somebody's managed to find it. You have a 4 or 5 minute break, or 2 or 3 minute break in play. And you've bought 1 ball, you've gone for 6.
Yeah, and you've got plenty of time to think about it as well.
It's horrible. It's and this is why, remember I was telling you last week about Bobby Rayo, my first ever leg spinning coach. You've got to earn your spell. Because the modern captain's leg break bowlers much more sensitively now. And they do give them protection, and they find ways to, even if they have an expensive couple of overs, to come back. The problem was 20 years ago, your first over went for 12. That was it for the day. You were done, because the run rates weren't quite what they are now. But pressure immediately on Lamachani. Really good batting from Richie Berrington. Better, fuller this time.
Now, I'm trying to remember, did Lamachani bowl from this end? Is this the first time he's bowled from this end? I'm trying to...
I think he might have bowled 1 over from this end the last day, but definitely at least 9 of the overs were from the nursery end. He's had a change of ends. The reason why, Mel, it's the bigger leg side boundary today, so it's only 4 metres. You might think, what's the difference? But he would have wanted to bowl from the nursery end with the way the wind was going, but he'll have felt... 59 metre boundary, don't fancy it. That's where I think you need a bit of bravery as a captain and as a young leg spinner. He's still a young man, Sandeep Lamachani, and say, no, I'm going to go with the conditions in my favour. I'm going to trust I'm not going to bowl a short one. He's still a young man, Sandeep Lamachani, and say, no, I'm going to go with... It's not the right line.
Oh!
They'll dash a single. Arif Sheikh doing the fielding close.
Oh boy, that was close. Luckily there was no hesitation from a Scotland point of view. And we haven't actually mentioned the wind today when you talk about conditions, and it's certainly probably the most pleasant it's been, I think. It's a little bit warmer today, and the wind, there's still a breeze if you look at the flags, but it's not nearly as ferocious as we have seen it. Those first two games, particularly that second game, they were honestly just incredibly difficult conditions for all involved.
It's a nicer line. I like that line as a leg spinner in ODI cricket. You might think, well, hold on, you're not challenging the stumps. You might not be from this delivery. So you get another look at that run-out replay. He was safely home, even with a direct hit.
Good dive.
Yeah, very good dive. Brings your googly into play. That's the line. Perfect line. Whether it's the leg break or the googly ball there. I know he's been cut away for a couple, but look at your field. You've got a slip fielder in, you've got a backward point, you've got that protection in the deep. If Tier doesn't pick it, that's the googly. He gets himself in big trouble. You can have an edge off a leg break to first slip. It's 9 runs from Lamachani's first over, 14 bowled, 69 for 2.
This is quite something from Charlie Tier. He's now just one good strike away from another half century. He's second in this series at a time when everyone else is finding batting very, very arduous. What are you laughing about, Lenny?
I just love some of the messages we get. Some of them we can't read on air, I'll be honest. And we won't. There's a passion amongst the Nepal fans you wouldn't believe as Bim Sharkey dives and stops wonderfully well. Will is asking, what about Josh Davies, Scott Curry, Bradley Wheel, Michael Jones? Where are they? County deals aside, are they available? In Brad and Scott Curry's case, yes, I think absolutely. Brad Wheel, we saw him playing in Texas. Michael Jones was there too, but the reality is their primary employers are the counties. I think Cricket Scotland, Steve Snell, the performance director, Doug Watson, the head coach, I think they try their very best to work with the counties and have a bit of pragmatism. The one that surprised me is Andrew Mead. He's not in the T20 team. I'm not even sure there's been second 11 games for him to be playing. I know Somerset pay his wages, but would it not have been more beneficial to him to be up here, to be playing for high quality ODIs? He looked good when he came back for that kind of, after that very long wait to get back into the team.
Well, he has been playing second 11 cricket. Quite very recently, 4th of June. There you go. So he's been playing second 11 for Somerset.
But he's not in the T20 Blast team.
No. So
is it not more beneficial for Somerset for him to be here? Because he's going to play their 50 over stuff, he's going to play their list A stuff, their first class stuff in the 4-day Kenny Championship. That's what his role is for Somerset. He's not in the mix of the T20 team, and the 3 second 11 games he's played in the T20 format, he's gone 13, 2 and 5. He's not that kind of player. He's a proper old-fashioned, really good, longer format batter. Is it a case that Somerset didn't know that he wouldn't be in the T20 team? Is it a case that Scotland didn't want to risk picking him and him then not being able to get up the road?
Well, it could have been any of those. Without knowing and being privy to those discussions, but I'd love to see him here.
Good question from Will.
It is
we don't
really
have we don't have the answer really. We're speculating as opposed to knowing.
But it's just the constant thing, and they have become very pragmatic about it, Scotland. And it's not just players being playing for counties either. Other circumstances where they can't get time away from
off
work.
work. Gavin Main, the perfect example. They'd love to have him here, I've no doubt. 15 have been bowled. It's the end of the first session. It, as always, has been a very interesting one. Scotland may be just edging things after those 2 early Karen KC breakthroughs, but overall it's probably something in the vicinity of honours even. I think we're going to have a guest on commentary after this. Do stay with us to hear about that. We will have a break here in the commentary box. Scotland, well, it's not going to be drinks. I thought it was going to be drinks, or I'm going to give out to our groundsman who had walked on to the field He'd taken a full stride on. His clock is wrong. They're right. It's not 2 minutes till drinks. So we'll have one more over and a chance for Nepal to get the best of the first session. They might get a third.
I was all ready for...
You were gone. You were up and about and
I
gone.
was all ready. Need hydration.
Good fight back this, though. Barrington, his value for this Scottish team. It's hard to think of a man who's been more integral for as long a period for any international side in the world. Paul Sterling of Ireland, maybe?
Yeah, Paul Sterling maybe, but Richie Barrington, mate, I'd follow him into battle. I really would. He's one of those captains. I just think he's incredible. I know I spoke about how much I enjoy watching Brandon McMullen, and it's the same with George Munsey, but...
Sean Williams for Zimbabwe. There's another one.
Yeah, he's another one for Zimbabwe. But I just think he's a hell of a guy, a hell of a captain.
His longevity is remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, to think he's been able to do it this long and a different player now to what he was earlier when, he was an all-rounder. Everyone talks to me about his bowling, but he'd stopped bowling by the time I started sort of watching.
Rohit Sharma, I suppose. I know he's taken his curtain call in 2 of the formats now, but I think he debuted back in 2007. Remember, Barrington got 100 against Bangladesh. What was that, 2010? It's incredible. And I suppose, given the smaller player pools that some of the associates have, Barrington's, I think maybe one of the most important players in Scottish cricketing history at any time or era. Dates back well over a century. Remarkable servant to the game, and I don't think anyone ever wants to think about what it'll be like without him.
Don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. We're not going to let it happen. He's got a long way to go. You were telling me about what was it, a 57-year-old?
47-year-old Nolan Clark in the 1996 World Cup.
I'm giving Richie a long time. I want to see him play until he's 57.
Charlie Tier will have to get to that drinks break on the eve of what would be another ODI 50. The 20-year-old's played so well, hasn't he? 49 off 45. He's been a dominant force in